Hello and welcome to Film Stories. It's spooky season, so we're going through some of the films that have terrified and traumatized us as kids and adults. I'm James Harvey. I'm joined by Maria Latilla and Ryan Lambie.
Hello.
And we're here to discuss our deepest and darkest pasts. Maria, why don't you start us off? You're a resident horror fan. What is a film that has traumatized you now or previously?
Now? Well, this is something that has traumatized me as a child, and now it still traumatizes me, and that is all versions of House of Wax. Because I am terrified of any kind of wax figurines. So, yeah, these make me cry.
Any kind of wax figurines?
Yes, as a child, my mum tried to take me to a wax museum, and all I remember is kicking and screaming, crying, because I was certain if I go in, I'm going to die. And I have no idea why I thought that, but yeah, still can't. I've never been to Madame Tussauds in London either, because I will die if I go in there.
That seems sensible. I mean, I've never been
I know,
to Madame
right?
Tussauds.
Do they have to be made of wax? Like, if it was like a really
Yeah.
convincing shot mannequin, would that still be scary?
No, specifically, well, you know how, I mean, let's take the 2005 version of House of Wax, which is terrible, but also terribly scary. They encase people in wax, like molten wax. And it's just like, there's that one scene, spoiler alert, where Jared Padalecki is alive, encased in wax, and he gets half his face torn off. That's horrible. I will take any Saw or Hostel film over that, because that,
So
nope.
you have said multiple versions of House of Wax. So which version did you watch first? And what made you, knowing that you're scared of wax figurines, decide to watch the rest of them?
I think the 2005 was probably the first one, and I was like, oh, this is not okay. And then for some reason, I've still gone in and watched the other ones and still been like, yeah, I'm okay. It's just, I can't, you know, when you get that sense of like your skin is just kind of feeling a bit weird? That
Some
happens.
wax poured on it?
Yeah. Just, yeah. The whole idea of being encased in molten wax, whether I'm dead or alive, is just, I don't know. There's something really horrific about it, and I can't even explain it.
It doesn't seem nice. How did you feel about, which James Bond film is it, where they cover her in, is it Goldfinger?
Finger, yeah.
Yeah, where they cover the lady in gold.
And then gold, what was it? Quantum of Solace, they cover in oil.
Yeah.
Quite
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm okay with all of that, but wax is just where I draw the line for some weird reason. Just
What
some
about
weird
batter?
childhood trauma.
Like
Depends
if
what
somebody was
batter. Like, what are we making?
You know, like a Mars bar, or like cod, battered cod.
That's how hungry I am, I suppose.
The first one you went for was Mars bar, Ryan.
I don't know why. Just
Yeah, no, I suppose it depends how hungry I am. Like, how desperate am I for food?
But yeah,
Well,
Battered arm.
House
That's
of
a
Batter doesn't have the same.
No. The Batterer? The Batterer. That's the
Batterer.
film.
There we go. We've got a horror film. Let's go pitch it out.
We've got it. What about you, Ryan? What's something that scared you?
Well, I've gone for one from when I was a kid. So I've gone for a few actually because I'm greedy. But because the initial one was Jaws, because I saw that probably when I was too young. It was on TV, and when I was I'd have been about 4 or 5, and that's probably my first one of my first film watching memories was seeing that in black and white. But the one that really gave me nightmares, which is a film that most people would laugh at now, is a film called The Swarm from 1978. And this is one of Irwin Allen's disaster films. He also made Silent Adventure, Tower Inferno. And this sort of came at the tail end of the 70s when it might have seemed like he had the formula down pat, but it all kind of went wrong with this one. Killer bees descend on America. And lots of people die, lots of famous people. Cocaine's in it in a brown kind of turtleneck sweater, sweating and shouting at everybody. But there's this one scene in particular that just like haunted me as a kid, which is at a picnic. There's like a family picnic, and everyone's sitting down on their gingham tablecloth and handing out the sandwiches. And then all of a sudden, all these bees descend, and the little boy has happened to have gone back to the car to get a thermos, and he watches from the safety of the station wagon as his entire family are killed by bees. And so, as a kid, that gave me nightmares for about what must have been days afterwards. Even though, like I said, when you see it now, it's quite silly. Although, to be fair, also on the flip side, many children die in this film. It's quite a harsh. It's easy to forget how harsh these like 70s disaster movies were.
I feel like that's quite a reasonable fear for a child to have as well, because I feel like when you're a child, you spend a lot of your time out having picnics with the family.
I
And
think
like
that's
the
the
most,
thing.
probably the most dangerous
stuff,
thing you've encountered is a killer bee or a wasp.
just an ordinary bee, just a regular
Yeah.
bumblebee. But no, I think that's why it works. Was because what it got to me is because I think it's probably the same. With most things that scare kids, it's something you can project yourself into. It's like like you said, like oh yeah, you could just be having a nice picnic under a tree. It's a lovely sunny day, and all of a sudden your family's killed. It's quite disquieting. So yeah, that's the one that scared me as a kid.
I think that's reasonable. I think the one I've gone for, which is not quite a horror film, but it's because I didn't really watch much horror as a kid because my parents were responsible, Maria. But the film that I've gone for is the third Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which, from my memory, is the first film I saw in the cinema. It's the first one I remember seeing anyway. And I remember seeing it with my dad. And I think it's been said before that the Harry Potter films are actually a really good gateway horror for kids. I mean, the first three in particular, I think, even though they've got, I think the first two are much more sort of fairy tale whimsical in our imagination. They've got these big scary, like the second one in particular has the giant spider and the basilisk and all sorts of horrible stuff. But I remember the third one when Professor Lupin turns into the werewolf, and then they've just come out of this haunted house-looking place, and I think Hermione's sort of sat behind a tree, or Harry is sat behind a tree, and you've got evil Wolf Lupin that is pushing his head around the corner, and it's a classic sort of I'm being chased by an evil, nasty monster kind of thing. But because I'd never seen anything like that before as a 5-year-old or however old I was, I found that quite traumatic. And it's extra scary because it's nice Professor Lupin that's turned into scary Wolfman. And actually, the werewolf in that film is really interesting. Well, it doesn't look much like a wolf. It looks just sort of like it's weirdly long and pointy and just uncanny in a way that I didn't enjoy.
Had you seen the first Harry Potter at that point?
Yeah, many times.
So you were
obsessed.
Okay with like the face and the back of the head?
Oh, the face in the back of the head I don't think ever bothered me.
Okay,
I think that was fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think, if anything, it was the bit... I don't think it's the giant spider in the second one, but like the medium-large spiders that are more like sort of... I think like their body's kind of face-sized. It's the thing that generally concerned me. I think as I've got older as well and realised that there are spiders that are closer to that size than there are to Aragog, the giant one, where you kind of think, oh, that could happen. I've never watched Arachnophobia for understandable reasons. But yeah, I think the third one stays in my memory a lot because it can't have been my first cinema trip, but it is the first one that I remember.
Would have been your first cinema trip then. Was it that traumatizing that you don't even remember?
Well, it can't have been that traumatizing. I mean, we can go into my next choice now, which is another non-horror film that I saw in the same year, because I checked when they came out in the same year. Robert Zemeckis' The Polar Express.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's horrifying. Yeah. That's
I keep watching. I'm obsessed with watching the Ebenezer Scrooge puppet video on YouTube. That scene where he's walking through this train carriage full of old discarded marionettes, and they're all really dirty, and one of them's got a nose broken off. And then Tom Hanks, train conductor, as opposed to Tom Hanks, all the other characters. Tom Hanks, train conductor, is talking, and then the kid picks up a puppet and he's looking at it, and then he looks up, and Tom Hanks has disappeared, and he's just alone in this room full of discarded marionettes. And then the Ebenezer Scrooge one sort of comes alive and screams, "You're a doubter," at him in Luke Skywalker's voice. It's quite disturbing, really.
I think it's a shame that Robert Zemeckis never actually just lent into it and just made an Uncanny Valley, like early 2000s CGI horror movie.
That would have been great.
You could take all the assets from that film and make it into a horror movie.
I'm sure you could just re-edit the Polar. I mean, you don't need to re-edit that much.
Yeah, just change the
Just
music
play
up
it.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like that Mrs. Doubtfire. Have you ever seen the Mrs. Doubtfire as a horror film trailer?
Yeah.
But I mean,
That
interestingly, we're talking a few days after they've announced that Ty West is doing A Christmas Carol with Johnny Depp out of all the people he could have cast. So maybe that will be kind of like a horror-y take on a Christmas classic.
Do you think they'll just take the Scrooge puppet and put Johnny Depp's face on it with AI, and then they'll just extrapolate the entire puppet scene from Polar Express? Because that would work, actually.
Scare. Yeah, that would be the most horrifying thing ever created.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to you, Maria. What's another film that has traumatized you?
See, this is the thing. I know I sound really pretentious when I say that. No film really scared me as a kid, because I must have been like 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, and we went to the library and my mum was like, yeah, go pick a film. And there was literally just like one drawer of VHS films, and I picked one. I was like, oh, this looks cool. I took it to my mum, and mum was like, no, take it back. No, you can't have that. It was Rosemary's Baby. And after that, I just became like obsessed with seeing it, because I was like, what could it be? What's on this tape that's so bad that I can't watch it? And then I watched it and I was like, easy? That's not that bad. The same with Jurassic Park. Like, I was only ever allowed to watch it until the scene where the baby dinosaurs are born, and then I had to go to bed. So again, it's this like,
actually.
I know, right? So it was this like weird obsession of like, what could it be that's so bad that they think I can't handle it? So that's why everything I watched far too young, it was more just like a challenge of, can I watch it? Am I going to throw up? And am I going to cower in fear? So it became like this weird challenge for myself. And then, yeah, nothing ever really kind of like lived up to what I was kind of thinking they were going to be. So, yeah, I mean, thanks, Mum. Now I love horror films.
Now you're immune. It's such
Yeah.
an interesting pair. Like Jurassic Park, I understand, because every child likes dinosaurs, and you in particular. But what was it about the Rosemary's Baby VHS cover that you thought looked cool? Because I don't.
It's a pushchair, isn't it? It's a pushchair.
Yeah, it's the pushchair. I think so, yeah. Or it's got like a pram or something, with like kind of this like dream, like I think it's some like Rosemary's like face or something. Because yeah, again, this is like the early or mid 90s. And I just thought, oh my God, this looks really fascinating. Like, I don't know what this is, because I probably at that point I can't even read. So I don't really know what it is. I'm just looking at the image and I'm like, I want to know what this is. And then I think just the shock on my mum's face when she's like, no, you cannot watch that. I think she's quite scared of like horror films, or at least was back then. I feel like I've made her immune now, probably over the course of 30 years. But yeah, I think that just created this weird fascination of trying to find something that scares me. And yes, it sounds really pretentious, but yeah, a film that did kind of freak me out, I suppose, not even as a kid, but maybe now, is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's not a kid's film, like the Disney one.
The Disney one, I was going to say.
It's weirdly sexual.
I've not seen it since I was a kid, and it didn't traumatize me then.
Frollo is obsessed with Esmeralda and like basically just really horny for her. And then that disturbs him. And he's like, no, I need to kill this woman, basically.
Fair enough.
That's not okay. How is that a kid's film? It is really brutal, because I'm pretty sure, again, spoiler warning, Frollo dies by like falling down into like molten, like, I don't know, is it lava or something? I haven't watched it either for a very long time because, yeah, it's freaky. But like, it's pretty brutal for an animated
lava in
kids film.
Paris?
I can't remember. It's probably not lava, but it's something like red and like molten. Again, with the things that are molten.
You sure you're not thinking of the end of Terminator 2?
Or Star Wars Episode 3?
That would be a sick
Alien
double
3.
bill.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it is. I just remember the image of him
Adventures
like
of Sith.
falling.
I'm beginning to wonder if I've ever even seen it. You know, maybe I've just not watched it. I don't remember.
There we go. Film Stories movie night. We've got it sorted.
Back of Notre Dame, followed by Terminator 2 and
Alien 3
yeah,
and Revenge of the Sith.
yeah. Oh god, that's a long night.
Lava Night.
I'm down. Hey, time and place. I'm there.
Do you have any more traumatic film memories, Ryan?
From childhood, there was The Intruder Within from 1981, which was basically an Alien ripoff that was made for TV. I think it was ABC made it. And I think it probably would have been on British TV in the early 80s. So I'd have been in like early single digits. So it's like, again, one of the earliest films I remember seeing. And so I saw this long before I saw actual Alien, which is ripping off. And so, if you look at it now, it's pretty ropey. It's basically Alien on an oil rig. So that all these people are digging for oil, drilling for oil, and they dredge up some ancient egg from millions of years ago, and it hatches out on the ship and on the oil rig and starts killing everybody. I saw it again recently, and it is really, really ropey. And in fact, but it shows how your brain can work when you're a kid, because for years I was convinced there's actually a scene in it where a female character in it, I think she either gets pricked by the egg. She touches the eggs are spiky. I think all you have to do is that, and then it kind of like it infects you in some way. And for years I had this image in my head that there was this scene where all the skin, she shed all the skin off, and then there was a monster underneath, and it started hunting everybody. And actually, when I rewatched it, I realised that I completely made that up. That you don't see that at all. All you see is kind of like a silhouette, and it sort of implies that some sort of metamorphosis, transformation things happened. And so my 6-year-old brain must have just sort of added that in itself, which is kind of neat, really, I suppose. It added its.
So you wanted it to be worse.
No,
Yeah,
I was horrified by it. Again, it gave me sleepless throughout. So I think I'm the other way around. So I think I was quite sensitive, and then I saw so many horrendous things at such a young age that I became completely desensitized. And I watch a lot of horror now. Yeah. So there was that. So these are all these are both very obscure films. Well, actually, no. The Swarm isn't particularly obscure. It's just fucking old. Yeah. There you go.
It's
James,
like
you got any more?
Yeah. I do have some more. But it's like what you were saying, Maria. It's like stuff that, like, your imagination always ends up being worse than the film than it is. And I suppose you can either go one of two ways. You can go the Maria route and just be like, oh, well, that means the film is for wimps. Or you can go the Ryan route of, this has traumatized me, and I will never forget it. But speaking of childhood faves and not
Trauma.
faves, trauma. My namesake, James the Giant Peach from 1996. Don't remember.
Is your name's James Peach?
My name's James Peach Harvey. The Henry Selick? Yeah, it's Henry Selick, isn't it? Yeah.
Not Tom Selleck.
No, I did write down in my notes Tom Selleck and then crossed it out. But the Henry Selick film, I think it's the one he made after Nightmare Before Christmas. But anyway, I think I always found stop motion animation quite creepy, just because because the frame rate, it's a slightly sort of disjointed movement. I was already, I think, by the time I'd seen that, slightly traumatized, scared of bugs, thanks to the Temple of Doom, and specifically the scene where Goldie turns over her hand and says, "I've chipped a nail," and then there's a giant, like, unnameable beast on it in the tunnel full of bugs. But anyway, that really freaked me out, and I realized recently that is the core of my phobia of insects that I've had my entire life, is that scene in Temple of Doom. But James the Giant Peach, now those insects are like human-sized and talking at me.
Isn't one of them voiced by David Thewlis, who's Professor Lupin?
That's true.
So you're actually just scared.
I'm actually just scared of David Thewlis.
The author of all your pain.
Imagine if you ever get to interview him.
I'd
That's going to
probably
be awkward.
I'll piss myself.
Thanks for the
instantly.
trauma.
Yeah.
Stop motion is creepy, though. I'll definitely give you that. Have you ever seen? Is it Jan Svankmajer, the animator? He did one in the 70s called. It was basically Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, I've seen bits of that.
Yeah, and all the creatures in it are kind of brought to life with like real animal skulls that are like stop motion animated and stuff. Yeah, and it's like, it's basically, it becomes this kind of Freudian, horrifying nightmare.
Yeah. I think I've got a weird memory of, I think because the James the Giant Peach film is so textured, like, I think the texture of the peach, I think I found sort of disturbing, because he's got to eat his way all the way through it. And I think there's something about that I thought that doesn't feel He doesn't look nice. Like normally when you see people biting into a peach, you think, oh, delicious peach. But I think it was something to do with like the volume of peach he was eating, the fuzzy skin, the fact that when he gets in there, it turns out it's full of bugs. And, that's a fear if you bite into a piece of fruit and it's full of bugs.
Then his mum and dad like eaten alive or something as well at the beginning of the film.
They got run over by a rhinoceros, didn't they?
No, they were eaten by the rhinoceros.
Yeah, right, actually.
Yeah, because that's so
a combination of both of them. But actually,
Oh,
Joanna Lumley and Miriam Margolyes played the evil aunts in that film as well, and they were quite scary. I think that's the kind of trope of Roald Dahl stuff, like the witches as well, around the same time. And Matilda, Miss Trunchbull, was very scary as a child. And also, I found the bit where was it Gobtrotter? Anyway, where she makes the kid eat the cake. I found quite
yeah.
That was more
Weird about that.
nausea-inducing, which isn't quite. It isn't the same as fear, but I feel like it's close. Anyway, that was a ramble, and that turned into just a fear of all Roald Dahl films, really, which is perfectly valid.
I'm surprised none of us have said Watership Down. That's usually one that comes up, isn't it? With the
Is
bloodshed.
that scary, or is that just?
I don't have,
Grim,
again.
isn't it? It's just depressing.
That's what a lot of people say though. Like, oh my god, it's so traumatizing. Nah.
The seagull says "piss off" as well, which is a bit much for a kids' film.
We need more films like this. Character building.
It is character building. Oh, there should be another one actually. Muppet Treasure Island scared me.
Okay.
I think it's
Explain.
again. Actually, I think I was basically just scared of puppets and any non-human puppets, cartoons, and anything that's not actually human. So Miss Piggy, I think I found the way that her eyes never open fully because they're always like half closed eyes. I think I found that quite disturbing. So I had a recurring nightmare about Miss Piggy for like a year, based on her. I think she's barely in Muppet Treasure Island as well, from memory. I think she's only in like 5 minutes. But there's something about her eyes and like the hysterical high pitch of her voice that, as a 4-year-old or whatever, I found very uncomfortable and disturbing.
So how do you deal with it now, like Muppets and puppets? Oh, that
And
rhymes.
now I love.
In
Now
general.
I love Muppets and puppets.
Okay.
All my favorite films have puppets and goo in them.
Was there goo in Treasure Island?
I was about
No, I
to
don't
say, where
remember
did
the
the
goo in
goo
Treasure
come
Island.
from?
The goo's just sort of generally there. Well, I was more thinking of like the Evil Dead, but I more think of the Evil Dead as a goo film than a puppet film. But I think there are puppets in it. Briefly.
There's some
Or
stop
Evil Dead
motion at the end.
too.
I mean, the first, yeah,
Yeah.
both got stop motion at the end, haven't
Yeah. But
Interesting.
yeah. So I feel like we've discovered that, everyone's foundational films that terrify them end up being the things that they love as an adult.
Yeah, kind of, I suppose. I don't know, Ryan, how do you feel about bees these days?
I'll take them or leave them. The fear of them hasn't lingered into adulthood. Like I said, all the films that I've discussed so far, apart from Jaws, which of course is a classic, they're all look rather silly now. And they probably did at the time, to be fair. It's just that I caught them at a very young age.
Yeah. Before you have critical faculties is, I think, is the key thing. Where you're like,
Well, yes, some.
They're
slightly more developed now, but not much.
Well, when you like every film you watch before you're 12 or whatever, you always think it's the best film you've ever seen, and then you sort of
getting big Boss Baby vibes from this.
Yeah, getting Boss Baby vibes from the Killer Bee movie,
from The Swarm, yeah. Or everything else reminds me of The Swarm.
I'm curious though about Jaws. Which bit of Jaws was did you find this? Because I feel like the bit that everyone finds scary in Jaws is the bit where the dead body floats. It's like the one jump scare in the whole film.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that Spielberg added late, isn't it?
Yeah,
that was like a reshoot, not reshoot, but like a pickup he did at the end. I think it changed. I think when I was a kid, I don't think I even got all the way to the end. But I think the thing that freaked me out was the kid on the life raft.
Yeah,
is it Kintner, the little kid? And you just sort of you see like the and then you see the little it's not a life raft, is it? It's like a lilo.
It's like a dinghy,
little inflatable things. Lilo, I think they call them lilos. And it's just punctured and it just washes up on the beach with all the blood, and that kind of, to me, was kind of horrifying as a child. And then I saw it again probably when I was about 10. And then I'd forgotten or had never got to the part where Quint, Robert Shaw's character, gets basically bitten in half by the shark on the deck of the boat and all the blood comes spurting out of his mouth. I still think you would struggle to get away with that in a PG film now. I mean, it's been re-rated since, but when it came out, it was, and for years after, it was a PG, this movie. So
what's it been re-rated to now?
I think it's a 12 now, isn't it?
They're 12 now. I'm gonna do some live fact checking.
Well,
And I think it, and I think the DVD might have been 15 at one stage, but that was because I think that was because of the an extra, one of the documentaries or something, rather than the feature itself.
According to this, it was a PG until 2021, and then it became 12A.
There you go.
fair enough.
Very
But
interesting.
yeah,
Oh, it was also for cinemas. It was rated 12A in 2012. There we go. Live.
It just goes to show that these things can go either way. Like, yeah, Spielberg was, like you mentioned, Temple of Doom. He was he spent about 10 years prodding at what he could get away with in a PG film, and he finally, 1984 was the year where the levy finally broke, and they introduced the PG-13 rating specifically because of Temple of Doom and Gremlins. Although I think the first PG-13 film in America that was actually released was Red Dawn, John Milius's commie invasion film. Oh, it's amazing. You really need to see it. Not the 2011 remake.
The remake with Chris Hemsworth, isn't it?
They had to hurriedly redo with CG because they didn't want to upset Chinese people, the Chinese government. No, the 1984 one is a brilliant piece of 1980s action propaganda madness, and it's got Harry Dean Stanton going, "Avenge me, boys, avenge me." It's fantastic.
You should put
Classic
Harry Dean
right there.
Stanton saying "Avenge me." They should have a character saying "Avenge me" in every film, I think.
Or especially in Alien,
Generally. Yeah.
Paris, Texas. Yeah. Anyway. That's not horror. How would we get onto the subject?
Well, speaking of not horror, let's do some more non-horror scary films. So, Ryan, what's a non-horror scary film that has scared you?
I think 2001: A Space Odyssey, I think, is notionally, conceptually scary. And just the way that it's made, the lack of dialogue, the kind of coldness of that film, and the eeriness of it is, I don't think any other film has quite captured it. Certainly not like a space film. I know, like, various filmmakers have tried. Most obviously, like Christopher Nolan with Interstellar, but nobody's got that kind of eerie astral coldness of what it'd be like to sort of go in, journey into the unknown and meet something uncanny. And I think I'd have seen that film for the first time, I think, probably when I was about 12 or 13. I think BBC Two put it on late one night and actually showed it in widescreen, which at the time was kind of noteworthy when they put it on. And I wasn't prepared for, because I loved sci-fi. I'd already seen lots of things like Silent Running and, Douglas Trumbull worked on the special effects on 2001, directed Silent Running as a kind of answer to that film because he wanted to make something that wasn't cold and completely lacking in humanity. Anyway, so to what, finally getting on to 2001, I'd heard lots about it, but afterwards it just kind of left me really kind of like, in a way that I couldn't even describe.
I think that whole segment in the middle where it's just going, I think they're in like the buggy going across the moon to get to the monolith that has just sort of appeared, and that the score in that it's so eerie.
Yeah,
and I think you're right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't remember seeing any other film that's made actual just space seem quite so terrible. I mean, something like Alien, where it's, well, the scary bit is that there's a nasty gribbly thing with two mouths running around ripping people in half, but in Space Odyssey, it's like, oh, this is just cold and sort of averse to life in a really
even things
way.
like Howell's voice, just the tone of his voice and everything. I mean, God knows what it must have been like to see this back in 1969 68 when it came out. It must have been mind blowing. I think initially audiences didn't quite know what to make of it. Yeah, it's a phenomenal film. Even if it's, you could say it's a bit, it's ponderous, all this kind of thing, and it's not Star Wars, put it that way. But you could admire it, I think, as a piece of filmmaking. It's extraordinary.
It's a lot better than Star Wars, for my money. I'm
Hot
being
take.
controversial.
Oh,
Hot take
God.
here.
You can get us in trouble.
Yeah, that's gonna
Fight me
line
in the
up.
comments, people.
There'll be like
God.
somebody pulling a plane. There'll be somebody pulling a banner behind a plane. James is wrong.
You're
Star
gonna get
Wars
all the
does
hate.
not suck.
It doesn't.
better than 2001. That's what you all sound like.
This went off tracks really quick.
Maria, what's a non-horror film that's given you the heebie-jeebies? I need to find a new way of phrasing this question, don't I?
I'm gonna have to go with Tully, the Charlize Theron film about. Is it Jason Reitman? Is it? Well, she's a mother and she's pregnant again, and she's already completely exhausted because her kids are just, as kids are, they can be a little tiring, I suppose. I don't know. I don't have kids, but
I've heard
I just thought,
Just saying.
yeah. So I don't know. Something about that film just. I don't know. I have a lot of respect for parents of children, especially with any kind of behavioral issues or any long-term, health problems. But yeah, that film just it's a very sweet film in general in its message, because she gets like a nighttime nanny and they form this bond. But yeah, just seeing her so exhausted, and then because she's pregnant again and it wasn't like a planned pregnancy, so even worse times are coming, because then you're going to have a newborn as well thrown into the mix. So yeah, there's something really kind of terrifying about that, especially I suppose as a woman, because not only do you have to raise these kids, you have to push them out of your body, which doesn't particularly appeal to me.
Yeah. I mean, Rosemary's Baby has taught you that can go horribly wrong as well.
Exactly. See, this is where it all comes around. Goes around, comes around. Clearly.
You can't guarantee that your baby won't be the Antichrist or like the Satan or whatever, the spawn of Satan. It's not the Antichrist, is it necessarily?
That's it. I'm getting sterilised.
Some of the scariest stuff in Rosemary's Baby is Mia Farrow's acting.
That is
there's a line in it where it's like, "I'm not dreaming. This is really real." It's like, that gets me every time, man. It's a good film. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film, but yeah, not a lot of the great films.
Comedy, Rosemary's Baby.
Again, you could do the reverse of Mrs. Doubtfire and put some antic music over the top of it, like a Rob Schneider type comedy.
Yeah.
She's about to find out.
Wow.
Her baby's Satan.
I feel like we're just
Rated
giving people
PG-13.
ideas on what to do.
We're just giving ourselves ideas. We should make a new cottage industry of recutting acclaimed horror and non-horror films.
Somebody must have done it. Probably check. Someone's probably already done it, and I've just ripped them off. Sorry if you have.
God.
Lord.
Well, we're quickly running out of time, but I'll quickly jump in with an actual horror film.
We've actually, I don't think any of these have been, apart from Rosemary's Baby, none of these have been horror films yet.
But this is the thing. I feel like horror films aren't. I agree with Maria in that most horror films aren't scary once you've seen them, I suppose. But you see,
I've got some scary ones.
Yeah, but like recently, because I was also like you, where I thought I was immune to horror films now because I watched The Exorcist like a lot, and I never found The Exorcist scary, and people said that was scary, so I was like, I'm a big brave boy,
better than you.
And then I saw both of Zach Greger's films recently, Barbarian and Weapons. I think I've just found a filmmaker who we find the same thing scary. And Barbarian, I won't talk about because the scary stuff is actually a spoiler, but that scared the heck out of me. And in Weapons, the moment where Josh Brolin's character is dreaming and he turns over the shape of a person that he thinks is going to be his kid in his bed, and it's this sort of 50-year-old woman wearing clown makeup.
That's what scares you.
That's 50-year-old woman wearing clown makeup.
Miss Piggy.
Yeah, exactly. It's Miss Piggy in human form.
I mean, I sat next to you when we watched Weapons, and I could tell that you were kind of like, as the film progressed, you just became like smaller and smaller. Yeah. And I remember that moment because I could tell they scared the shit out of you. It was great.
But for the first hour of Weapons, I was genuinely thinking, I've gone too far. This is my Rubicon, and I've crossed over it into traumatic territory. I feel unsafe watching this film. I think I'm going to be too scared to go home alone.
We've all been there at some point.
Just walk up to a stranger and say, "Excuse me, can you hold my hand as we go home?"
That'll definitely get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't do that. No one do that, please.
Weapons didn't really get to me. I don't know. I found Weapons funny. I thought Weapons was kind of a black comedy.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
It was
100%.
It was funny. It got funny. It gets funnier as it goes on, I think.
Definitely, yeah. Especially once it passes a certain point, and and it kind of releases the tension, and it becomes something else without spoiling things. And it just, to me, it almost became like a kind of black comedy. The one that did freak me out that came out this year was Bring Her Back. I don't know if you've both seen that, but the Philippou brothers follow up to Talk to Me. I found it not just because, like you say, most films aren't genuinely scary. It's very, very hard to make a film scary, or consistently scary anyway. But it's more oppressive. Just the tone of it and just the relentless kind of grimness of it. There's a few moments of levity here and there, but yeah, my God, like the net effect of it is just so exhaustingly harsh. I remember coming out of a screening, and there was two guys that I had no idea who they were. I don't think they were film critics or anything, but they just literally just leaned up against the wall of the lift as it descended and just went, "Jesus Christ," and practically just slid down the wall because they're just so tired. Which I think
very
takes
sad
some
as
doing.
well.
It's
really sad. I think I shed a tear or two at the end.
It's sad, and it's there's no particular glimmer of light either. It's just despairing, really. I mean, it's beautifully done. I mean, the acting's fantastic. Sally Hawkins is amazing. The two kids that are in it are amazing. But yeah, good God. And in fact, I mean, I think at one stage there's stuff in this that really would have bothered the BBFC. Going right up to sort of like almost the late 90s, the BBFC really had a beef with people using household implements to injure people or themselves. And there's some really, really grisly stuff in here involving household implements and very young people, which I think probably would have been trimmed out a couple of decades ago or so. But there we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's extra creepy as well because I mean, Talk to Me is hardly a barrel of laughs
comedy
either from the Philippou brothers, but I think it's just extra weird whenever you've seen an interview of the Philippou brothers and you realize, because I interviewed them for Talk to Me, and did you speak to them in the end for Bring Her Back, Ryan? Or
no, I didn't. No, I mean, I've seen interviews with them, and you could. Yeah. It's very hard to put those two guys with these movies.
YouTubers, aren't they? That's how they got started.
They did like backyard wrestling movies. They hit each other with planks of wood and like jumped into big piles of tacks and stuff. Drawing pins.
But they're just so jokey and full of energy, and man, they've made two just the grimmest, most depressing horror films of the last few years.
Yeah, it's like discovering that Johnny Knoxville is actually a filmmaker, with kind of like Bergman-esque kind of chops. Like, they're not just good, like not just good horror filmmakers in a kind of schlocky B-movie kind of way. They can actually come up with really, really beautiful images and just like compositionally, formally brilliant filmmaking. I think it just completely confuses me.
Yeah, it's like if
also, it's quite comforting as well.
It's like if Lorraine Kelly made Full Metal Jacket, I think, in a way.
Okay,
that's the analog I'm going for.
Yeah,
right. I think that's just about all we've got time for on film stories. So thank you for watching, everybody. If you want to find out more, go to filmstories.co.uk, where we have daily articles, news, features, reviews, all that goodness, all about your favourite and least favourite films. We've also got a podcast, Film Stories with Simon Brew, that contains interviews with filmmakers and stories behind films of yore. We've got a podcast network, the Film Stories Podcast Network, where you've got all sorts of podcasts and all sorts of things nerdy, from films, video games, TV, and everything in between. So do check those out. And we have a print magazine. It's a quarterly magazine, 168 pages, the biggest film magazine in the UK. Again, full of all your interviews and material on your favourite new releases and beyond. Apart from that, that's my plug done. I think that was quite good. That was one take. So I'm going to say goodbye. Done. It's a goodbye from me, James Harvey. Maria, are you going to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Ryan, will you say goodbye?
Go on then. Bye.
I feel like the rhythm of establishment.
That was awful.
The rhythm of establishment. I
Ruined
have
it.
to say goodbye as well. This has also been one take if you hadn't clocked it. Right, bye everybody.
Right, bye.
Bye.